everybody, Bandit here. Welcome to the Bandit Flight Simmer channel, and today I'm going to do a quick IFR flight in the TBM 930. We're here in Springbank, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and we're going to be doing a short flight up to Edmonton, Alberta. So let's hop in the cockpit and go over what we're going to feature today on today's flight. And if you can see here too, I'm using the a mod for the TBM, and we got the doors open right now, and we'll show you how to close those in a minute. But I'll put a link in the description to the mod I'm using, and it also improves some of the flight characteristics of the TBM 930 as well. Okay, let's hop in the cockpit and get loaded up. Okay, here we are in the TBM, and so I'll get the doors closed first. We have our lovely co-pilot flying with us today. So they do have some, this door here you just close with this handle here. They do have this lever down here which opens the luggage compartment door up front. And then you can just close that again. They have this door lever right here, and that closes the door in the back. And so that door is closed. If we want to get rid of our nice co-pilot here, we can just do that and bring her back. And yeah, so that's it for the doors on the airplane. Oh, and you can lock them too, so we'll just lock that door. And to lock the door in the back here, you kind of have to go in the back and just hit that lock right there. So let's get the aircraft battery on here. So I haven't flown the TBM in a while, so just put on the open the crash battery bar here, get the battery on, the generator on. I'll put our nav lights on and go down here, and we're using the latest Working Title G3000 Mod, and that is adds some nice features, including charts to this aircraft display here too on the G3000 system. So we'll go over that today, and we'll go over the setup for the IFR flight, loading the flight plan and everything like that. So let's start off. I'm going to do it on VATSIM as well, so we'll have some ATC. I just saw they had ATC running from Calgary to Alberta, or to Edmonton, so that should be pretty good. So just real quick, I'm going to put in my basics of my flight plan first, and then we'll get the call for a clearance and get the airplane set up. So we go to the MFD here, and we'll go to the flight plan. I'm going to be flying out of Charlie, Yankee, Bravo, O Whiskey, which is Springbank Airport. I'm going to be going to Charlie, Yankee, Echo Gulf, which is Edmonton International. We have 2 waypoints on this route, so we'll add those. So first en route waypoint is Pevlu, P-E-V-L-U. And did that not go in there for some reason? P-E-V-L-U, yeah. Maybe I hit the up button by mistake there. There we go. And Bisno, B-I-S-N-O, B-I-S-N-O. And we want the one that is only 88 miles from here. And then we're going to Oilers, will be our next one. Hence the Edmonton Oilers, I believe. O-I-L-R-S. O-I-L-R-S. And then we'll put it on our arrival once we find out at what runway we're going to get there. So Anyway, I think we can go to ATC and better log in on VATSIM here. We'll get our IFR clearance up to Edmonton. 125.9. So we'll go to Navcom and COM1. 1259. Yeah, give him a call and see if we can get a clearance. Otherwise, it's Edmonton Center, I think. Calgary approach. It's TBM Charlie Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu at Springbank. Can I get an IFR clearance to Edmonton with you?
Bravo, Uniform, Zulu, Zulu, Calgary, hello, stand by, I'll be right with you.
Roger. Well, while we're waiting, let's get this airplane started so we don't drain our battery down. So, go up top here first. And we'll turn all this on, so we'll get the autopilot on. Make sure that's in auto. Put the pump to auto, and the ignition is in auto, and then we can hit our ignition.
TBM Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu, cleared Edmonton by the Springbank 3 departure, flight plan route departure off runway 35, squawk 6375.
Springbank 3, flight plan off of 35, 6375 for Uniform Zulu Zulu.
Roger, all correct. I'm not getting the correct weather out of Springbank right now. I have an altimeter for you, 3010. The winds out of Calgary International are 35015. Not call rate for taxi.
Yeah, the windsock looks like it's favoring 35. Can you say again the altimeter?
3010, 3010.
3010, thank you. Okay, we'll get our fuel. Of course, he calls back with the clearance right while I'm in the middle of the start here. But anyway, that's going okay. Temperatures, pressures are all coming up. All looks good. And yeah, that's all stabilizing pretty nicely. So, turn on our P2 heat. Get that going. We'll get our bleeder on. We want our initial separator on the ground, and I think that's it. We'll put our flaps to takeoff, and now we can go in and look at our departure here. So, excuse me for moving all over here. He said the altimeter was 3010, so I'll set that before I forget, and we'll set it up here as well. Okay, now for the flight plan, let's select the departure out of here, and it's the Springbank 3.
Uniform Zulu Zulu, still with me?
You bet.
Alright, thanks. Another controller's going to sign on here. He has to sign on as under the same call sign as me. So I'm going to sign off. You're going to see it disconnect here for a few seconds, but the other guy will be back on right away for you.
Okay, thanks.
Roger.
Okay, so it's no transition, so we'll load that. It's just now we can come up to the chart feature here. And if we go to charts, we have Springbank default show there, and it shows the airport info. And so we can look at this first. So we can just zoom in, and we can hit this to navigate around the chart. So we're going to be taking off 3.5, so it's a nice easy taxi out to Alpha down to 3.5. So that's pretty simple. So I don't think I'll need this chart anymore. We'll go back, and I'll get the departure of the Springbank 3. And we will look at this. And for runway 35, climb heading 345 to 7,000 feet for vectors. There's a required climb gradient, do not exceed 250 till above 10. No other restrictions. Transition altitude is 18,000. And departure is 2452. So, that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 7,000 feet in my altitude selector. The elevation here is pretty high. It's almost 4,000 feet. And I'm going to put the heading 345 in the heading bug for our departure. So I think that covers everything for departure. Initial separator is on, that's okay. So that's the chart features. And we can go back to the main menu. And another thing we can do here is we can split screen. So with the split screen, we can go back and forth between the two screens with this knob. And so now I can zoom in and zoom out and see our GPS track here. So there's Pevlu, Bisno, Oilers, and Edmonton. So that all looks good too. So I'll just keep that window there, and I'll keep this window here. So I think we're all good. So I think we're ready to taxi. So let's go back to our comm. And we're talking on 25.9. Put in our squawk of 6375. 6375. And we will put in the altitude reporting. And yeah, that's done. And yeah, I think we're all good. So we'll just have to head out here, head left. There's a windsock, the winds, and yeah, the weather is not too bad here. It's a little bit cloudy. I think there's some rain showers in the area, so I think we'll call up, tell them that we're taxiing for 35. Put my taxi light on, and we'll get ready to taxi here. Calgary, it's TBM Charlie Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu is taxiing for runway 35 in Springbank.
Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu Springbank altimeter 3010 runway 35 taxi via Alpha.
Alpha for runway 35 and 3010 on the meter Uniform Zulu Zulu. Yeah, it's a little bit windy here. Not a bad day. Also, the sun visors work on this. You can just drag them up and down, and I think you can even twist them around. Figure out how to do that once we get up there. Okay, so another thing we have to do here is we have to get our nav source on GPS. One thing you have to be careful with the TBM here is the torque. It's really easy to over-temp and over-torque here.
Uniform Zulu Zulu, call me airborne winds 350 at 15 knots, clear for takeoff runway 35.
So takeoff 35, we'll call you in the air, Uniform Zulu Zulu. Okay, clear for takeoff. So just gonna get slowed down here and get everything configured. So put on our pulse, strobe, landing light. Flaps are set for takeoff. Got runway heading 7,000 feet, and I think we're all good to go. Okay, that's pretty much straight ahead. A little bit of wind from the left, so we'll apply some power. Airspeed's alive. Just watch the power doesn't over torque there. And looking good. We'll rotate at 90 knots. 90 knots. Gears up. For 90 knots, rotate and yeah, pause the rate, gears up. Some trim going here. Speed is 110. We'll get the flaps up and we'll go get our autopilot going here. So autopilot's on, yaw damper, nav, and we will go flight level change, I think. 130 knots is a good speed. So gear is up, flaps are up. We've got autopilot on, yaw damper, tracking the FMS, and flight level change at 130 knots. Just give me a call. TBM, Charlie Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu, 5.3 for 7,000.
Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu, radar identified 5,500 feet, climb flight level 190.
Flight level 190, Uniform Zulu Zulu. Okay, so we'll put 190. Okay, there we go. So we're going to continue this climb up to flight level 190. And yeah, it's all looking good. We can turn our initial separator off now. Torque, I'll leave it at 80.
Zulu, right turn direct Pevlu on course.
Right turn Pevlu on course, Uniform Zulu Zulu. Okay, so I'll just heading select it initially, and we'll get our heading going in that direction. Then I'll come down here and I will go to the flight plan, Pevlu, and we want direct to activate, and then we will go back to nav. And we are direct Pevlu, and you can see it here on our nav display. So that looks good. Continuing the climb here, watch, see the torque creeps right up on you. And that's not quite correct in a turboprop. When you climb up, the torque should actually decrease, not increase. So I think that's an Asobo fault. Oh, we're getting a little bit of icing here, looks like. Through a little bit of cloud. Yep, so we got our pitot heat on, so that's good. We can turn our windshield and prop de-ice on, and our airframe de-ice on for a few minutes, and just get that cleaned up as we get above the cloud here. So I'm going to get the ATIS for Edmonton, and they are right now showing winds 360 at 11, gusting 17, temperature 11, altimeter 3006, and they're using runway 30 for the approach. So yeah, perfect. So now we can start looking at that as we're climbing up here. Just watch my power. Get back to about 90% torque. I think we're okay for the icing now. Just look outside again. We're well above the clouds, so yeah, it looks good. Enjoying the flight? Yeah, she is, I think. Look. Super. Okay, so now we can go in and get some charts for the now it's Edmonton is showing there, so we can show the arrival, and we're doing the Oilers 2 for 30. So we'll have that up there, and then we'll go over to this screen and I'll put up our map mode. So that looks good. So we want the Oilers for runway 30, comes in here, goes down this way, and over there, and then it looks like a downwind DTW, or downwind termination waypoint for runway 30 right there. So, and we can look at the approach for 30. And let's see what our approach options are. Just going to look at the charts here for the approach.
TBM Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu, contact Edmonton Center on frequency 135.75. Have a good rest of your flight.
13575 Uniform Zulu Zulu. Thanks a lot. Okay, so we'll go to our comm. 13575. Oh, no. 3575. Edmonton Center, TBM Charlie Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu, climb in 16.5 for flight level 190.
TBM Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu, Edmonton Center, hello, climb flight level 250.
Flight level 250, Uniform Zulu Zulu. So all the way up to 25, our flight plan altitude.
363, looks like the other airplane's disconnected and is no longer a factor. You are shortly leaving my airspace, Seattle Center is offline, radar service is terminated. Switch to the en route frequency and have a great flight, sir.
Alright, over to you, Compet X363 Heavy. Thank you very much for the service. Good night.
So let's see what our approach options are here in Edmonton. So they have the ILS. We can probably do that. So let's go to the charts here. And we'll look at the ILS 30. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we can set that up. And SUVAT is right here. So we could actually probably load it up by that as an option.
Jazz 8517, contact arrival 120.5.
Standard pressure, 2992. And so let's load that up. So I'll go back to map mode here.
TBM Bravo Uniform Zulu Zulu, the Edmonton ATIS is Delta, the arrival runway is 30.
Okay, check have Delta and planning the ILS 30.
United 1728, same for you. ATIS information at Edmonton is Delta, plan for 30.
So go back to map mode here. So let's load up the arrival. Will be the Oilers 2, no transition for runway 30. So we can load that. And then if we look at our and compare it with our chart over here, so it's Oilers.
United 1728, Edmonton.
Just watching the climb
Edmonton,
there.
go ahead.
United 1728, the ATIS information at Edmonton is Delta, the arrival runway is 30.
Okay, we'll pick up Delta and we'll plan for 30 for United 1728.
Edmonton Center,
Center,
West
this up.
445 is with you, Follow 340.
WestJet 445, Edmonton Center, hello, you're identified.
So we got Oilers to, there's 1,000 feet to go. I'll just watch that level off here.
In Canada 264, ATIS information at Edmonton is Delta, plan for 30.
Plan for 30 and we have Delta aircraft 264 heavy.
Yeah, so when I compare these, we have Mesa, Suvat, and Amezva So all the waypoints compare, they're pretty good. So that looks pretty good. And now we can load the ILS for 30 by SUVAT. And we can load that. And now we're going Pevlu to Bisno. That looks good. And if I go back to the map mode here, you just see how that loaded in here. Mesa, Suvat, and yeah, it goes right to Jevan. So you shouldn't really take this out though. That should keep that in.
8517 Edmonton.
So I'll just have to manually turn to that heading if I don't get an approach clearance to link it up here. So we'll see how that works out. We're so slowly accelerating here. We'll be looking for about at least 300 true. So we're getting up to the true airspeed is 290.
445, the Edmonton ATIS is Delta, the arrival runway will be 30.
Russia 445,
So I think that looks okay for now. Just got to remember that if we don't get the clearance by SUVAT, we'll have to turn to the downwind heading there of 120. So that'll more or less cover off the remainder of the arrival because it's already linked it up. Okay, so that's the approach, and I'll just go over the weather again real quick here. So it is winds 360, 11, gust 17, good visibility, 20 miles, 11 degrees.
Edmonton, snow 428, can we get a descent to flight level 280?
428, roger, descend flight level 280.
So
Descent flight level 280.
what I usually do is put 3008 in the standby altimeter just so I know it's done, and then I'll just put it in when we go through our transition altitude. So now I got to figure out for our descent what we need to do. The only restrictions are for the altitude. So if I go over to the chart here and I look at Oilers, there's a restriction at or above 190, so that's not a big deal. And we want to be at Mesa at hard at 7,500 feet and 220 knots max. Suvat 210 max, and then off to MSFS. So I just need to be there at 7,500 feet. That is 25 miles from Oilers. So if I plan to be that Oilers at 19, and then should be no problem losing that extra like 12,000 feet or so in that short time. This airplane can lose altitude pretty quick. So probably want to start my descent. I only need to lose 6,000 feet by Oilers, so
Number 2130 Bravo Edmonton.
I'd say about 5 minutes back I'll just do a 1,000 foot per minute descent to Oilers, and we'll go from there. So I think that's the plan. Anyway, I'll talk to you a little bit as we get a little bit closer to Oilers, and you can watch the arrival and descent portion and see how it all works out. Okay, we're back here. We're just probably about 25 miles back from Oilers right now.
WestJet 445,
got,
the winds
cleared.
have changed in Edmonton. Confirm you still want 30.
Descent,
yeah, we still
our
want 30.
discretion down to 10,000
WestJet 445, when ready, descend 10,
I'll put it
10,000.
in,
The
vertical
Edmonton
speed,
altimeter is
and
3007.
we'll just go 1,000 feet per
10,
minute now.
10,000, WestJet 445, plan runway 30.
And I'll bring the, now this is a...
Delta 4211 Edmonton.
This is a fault in the
Go ahead.
mod.
Delta 4211, unfortunately, my internet dropped there for a second.
This
You're
speed
leaving my
doesn't
airspace,
correspond
radar
to the
service is
actual
terminated.
speed
Switch
here,
to the advisory
so
frequency.
you
Have a
shouldn't
great
be
flight.
redlining up
122
here,
Decimal 8, thanks for the great event. We'll see you next time. Take care. Have a great week, Delta 4211.
See you next time.
So I'll bring a little bit of power off. We're on our descent
1728,
down to 10,000. And actually our first restriction is
United
19,000,
1728,
so
the restrictions canceled.
I'll put that in for now, just so we don't bust that by mistake. And then once we pass that point, then I will I'll put in the 10,000 feet. since we don't have VNAV on this aircraft, it's always good just to dial in your lower altitude restrictions all the way in until you pass those waypoints. If you had VNAV like on the CJ4, you could just follow the VNAV profile and it will take care of all those altitude restrictions for you on the way in. So they're saying it's a little windy in Edmonton, but it's favoring 02 now, but we're set up for 30, so we'll stick with that. It's only about a 15 knot crosswind, so we should be able to handle that. So we'll keep 220 as close to that as possible on our descent here. That's a speed restriction for Mesa anyway, so that way we'll abide by that. They also have the traffic operating as well too, so if we do get close to other traffic, we should be able to see them on our TCAS here. So I'll just put it out a little further. I think 40 miles seems to be as far as it goes, but if we see other traffic here...
United 1728, contact arrival 120.5, good day.
120.5, United 1728, thank you.
Our turn to Oilers, and that's where our 19,000 foot restriction
Canada is. 264 Edmonton.
So
go ahead for Air Canada 248.
Air Canada 264,
so the
winds have shifted in Edmonton. They're arriving runway 02, but since I've given you 30, you can still arrive 30.
After that, we'd love to have 30 Air Canada 248.
Okay, Air Canada 264, you can continue to plan for 30.
Continue through Air Canada 248.
There we go. I like flying the TBM. It's a nice airplane. Good. It's pretty fast. Gets up high. All weather capability. And this modified G3000 by Working Title Group is makes a lot of improvements.
TBM Bravo Uniform
overall.
Zulu contact arrival 120.5. Good day.
20.5 Uniform Zulu. Thanks.
See you next time.
Cheers. Okay, so...
Edmonton Center, good evening. It's Skywings 440.
Skywings 440, Edmonton, good evening.
05. This was... Let's see if there's a new one.
Jazz 8517, can you hear me?
Natus Echo. Okay, so we're heading into Oilers. Looking good. Good approach. It's TBM Charlie Bravo Uniform Zulu. We're 204 for 10,000 with Echo.
Bravo Uniform Zulu, Edmonton arrival, good evening. Continued descent 9,000, the Edmonton altimeter 3007.
9,000 on 3007 Uniform Zulu. Okay, we just got to remember our cleared altitude is 9,000. Just write that down.
Jazzy 517, we're clear of the active. Yeah, Jazzy 517, I have you on the ramp now. Next time you need to call when you're right off the runway and taxi at your discretion. Jazzy 517.
So we're tracking into Mesa now, and go down to 9,000 is our altitude we're cleared to. And I'm going to increase the rate of descent.
And United 1728, resume normal speed.
Normal speed 1728.
About 2,000 feet per minute. Bring the power back a little bit. We want to be down by Mesa at 7,500 when he clears us to that altitude. So he said the altimeter was 3007. So put that in now.
United 1728, descend 5,000.
Down to 5,000, 1728.
Bring the power back. Want to keep the speed close to 220 there. We're going to go into cloud here in a bit, so I'll keep an eye on that too, so we can get our anti-ice protection on. So we got about 20 miles.
Uniform Zulu Zulu, descend 7,000.
7,000 uniform Zulu Zulu. Okay, so I'll put 75 for that Mesa restriction, and I'll just note we're cleared to 7,000 now, because Mesa is hard at 7,500 at max 220. So. So it looks like it's going pretty good. And he's probably going to take us on vectors by the time we get near Suvat anyway, so. But if.
United 1728 by Jevon, cleared the approach runway 30.
If he doesn't, like I said, I'm going to have to just heading select it.
So you get for 1720.
United 1728 by Jevon, cleared approach runway 30.
Clear for the approach runway 30, United 1728.
Okay, looking good.
Edmonton arrival, Western 445 is descending through Foggle 210.
Westjet 445, Edmonton arrival, good evening, continued descent 5,000, Edmonton altimeter 3007. What approach are you planning?
Western 445, descent 5,000. We're planning the RNAV Yankee, runway 30.
Westjet 455, I check, I'll have that for you, close train.
Western 445, say again.
Yeah, check the RNAV.
Oh, while I was offline there, I just went and checked that so I went to Navcom and audio, and I made sure that our ILS frequencies 10910 were set. So that is done. And I also made sure that our course is set. And usually how I do that is I center my heading bug, I go heading mode, and then I can change the nav source down here to VOR1 or NAV1, and I just make sure that my course is set using the course knob up here to 300. And then once I've got that all set up, I go back to the go back to the active nav, back to the FMS.
Uniform Zulu Zulu, descend 5,000.
5,000 uniform Zulu Zulu. And then I'll put it back in nav mode. Okay, so just gonna check. 7,500 is still looking good. We've got Mesa in 6 miles. I'm just going to get the rate of descent just going a little bit faster there. A little bit of power off. So we'll get down to 2,500 feet per minute.
United 1728, wind 04014, cleared to land runway 30.
Clear to land 30.
And we're cleared to 5,000 now, so I will, after we cross Mesa, I'll put that in. Watching my speed is keep it as close to 220 as possible. So we got 5 miles to go.
One check.
2,500 feet.
040 at 14.
Should be fine. And we're just getting into de-icing here, so I'll put on my windshield de-ice, prop de-ice, airframe de-ice, and I'll put the inertial separator on as well. Okay, so we got 1,000 to go. I'm gonna just reduce that rate of descent. So I'll throw some lights on in here too. There we go.
Uniform Zulu Zulu, cleared ILS approach runway 30 Subat transition.
Cleared ILS 30 Suvat transition for Uniform Zulu Zulu. So he's cleared us the approach, so it's all linked up, so I would have had to link that up anyway. Got a master caution, inertial separator on. And so now I can go down to my altitude of 5,000
Air Canada
feet.
150, contact Edmonton Center 135.75.
13575, Air Canada 150.
Go vertical speed, keep descent going again. I don't need 2,500 feet per minute, so I'll go 2,000 feet per minute. Keep the speed around 200. So now we're heading into Jevon, and I'm going to load up the approach plate here. So go to charts, and we'll go approach, and the ILS 30. You can see our plane shows up on the chart here as well. So from Jevon to, it is 5,000 from Jevon to Suvat to Jevon, so we'll just maintain that 5,000 and then join the ILS frequency. Looking good, we're below the cloud. Get the anti-ice off here soon. Should start showing up on this screen here as well. So keep the speed around 200 knots. Let it bleed off a little bit as we level off. So I'll let the GPS take us around the turn, and then I'll switch over to the ILS. There. It might automatically switch over. I think the G3000 does that, has that feature. So I'll turn off our windshield. Up the ice there. I'll leave the inertial separator on. Keep around 180 knots. And I'm going to zoom in this chart a little bit. There we go. If I zoom in, you can see 5,000 is our altitude to go to Jevon, and then we turn inbound, and then we can maintain that 5,000 until we intercept the glide path. So that looks good. And I'll zoom in on this chart here a little bit. So all looking good. There's the airport right there. See, our glide slope is starting to show up. And it did pitch over, so looking good. So I'm going to arm the approach. And we got glide slope and localizer. Looking good. We'll switch our nav source to nav source's localizer active there, so good. So we're all set up. Nice.
United 1728, welcome to Edmonton. Do you have a gate number?
No, sir. We'll park wherever you want us to.
United 1728, okay. Taxi straight ahead
So
to the
here
ramp.
comes the glide slope.
Straight ahead to the ramp, 1720.
Uniform Zulu Zulu, wind 04014, cleared to land, runway 30.
Cleared to land 30, Uniform Zulu Zulu.
Edmonton arrival to Arkansas
So there's our
64 Heavy
glide
with
slope.
jet flight level 190.
Glide slope captured.
Canada 264, Edmonton arrival, good evening. Runway 30, Edmonton, altimeter 3007, continued descent 9,000.
And if we look at our missed
Continue
approach,
descent 9,000, and do you want to keep our speed restrictions up? Air Canada 64 Heavy.
Air Canada 264 Heavy, yes, keep the speed for now.
Speed up to 250 knots, Air Canada 264 Heavy.
so if we look at our missed approach, it says climb to 4,400 on the straight ahead track to Z. So Since we've got the glide path captured, I can put that in for my missed approach altitude. We need it, and we're looking good. So I'm going to start slowing down. We'll get some gear. 1,800 feet. I'm going to have the gear and approach flap in by 1,000 feet. Get our approach flap. So come below. I'm not sure what the speed is for approach flap, but I guess as long as we're below 140, it's probably not too bad.
WestJet 445, cleared RNAV Yankee approach runway 30.
And the approach speed about this airplane's around 90 knots.
WestJet
So
445,
let it
cleared
bleed
for the
off.
RNAV Yankee, Jev on transition.
Just center my heading bug. So we're coming up on 1,000 feet AGL. So got the gear down, flaps are approach, land flap to go. Missed approach altitude is set. Got our landing light on. And looking good. Clear to land. Letting speed bleed off here. Getting a little bit below glide slope, but looks pretty good. Okay, we'll get land flap. A little bit of power. Go for about 90 knots. A lot of drag when that flap comes out. Don't think it should take this much power, but there you go. So gear is down, flaps are full, landing lights on, and we are clear to land. Glide slope's looking good. There's no way it should take this much power to... I don't think so anyway. Crosswind from the right.
500.
Okay, so we're clear to land. We'll get the autopilot yaw damper off. Fly in the last little bit here.
Aircan 264, we confirm it was 10,000 for us.
You can see the windsock.
Aircan 264 was 9,000,
Straight
but how about
crosswind.
continue descent 7,000 now?
7,000 Aircan 264 heavy. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. No worries at all. Thanks for checking.
Threshold. Go to idle. Oh. Bounce there. I don't think I had that's my normal side picture for landing. I should have put it in that. Okay, I'm not going to use reverse. I'm going to roll it down here a little bit. It's a long runway. We'll exit at the first high speed here.
And uniform Zulu Zulu, next right exit, please.
Woke up. A little bit of power, going kind of slow here. Yeah, those taxi lights shouldn't be in the middle of the taxiway like that. Uniform Zulu Zulu, clear on Alpha 2 to park at Shell Apron 3.
Uniform Zulu Zulu, thanks. Taxi via Alpha, Bravo, Romeo, and then Apron 3 at your discretion.
Alpha Bravo Romeo to the apron, Uniform Zulu Zulu. So, I could go in here.
Air Canada 264, descend 5,000.
And I could go to full.
5,000 Air Canada 264 Heavy.
Air Canada 264, speed your discretion.
And pick airport.
Speed our discretion, Air Canada 264 Heavy.
WestJet 445, wind 04014, clear to land, runway 30.
Clear land 30, WestJet
And
445.
you can see we are on Alpha here, and we're going to go pick up Bravo to Romeo, and the apron's just up here, so that's what we'll do. So we'll get post landing, we'll get our flaps up, go our taxi light on, take our strobe off, inertial separator is on, so yeah, it looks good. Oh, did I just turn the strobe on? Nope. Turn the pulse off too. Okay. So we'll just follow taxiway Alpha here. Make a right turn on Bravo, head up here, and then the apron 3 is just up there on the right. Yeah, it really improves the immersion having the charts. If you have a Navigraph subscription, you just link your Navigraph account
264, clear down as approach,
explain how to do it.
that transition.
Working Title website there, and then
Checking the transition for Air Canada 264 Heavy.
and then you have access to all your Navigraph charts here, which really makes the overall immersion of flying this airplane a
Current
lot more
transition, Air Canada
realistic.
264 Heavy.
Air Canada 264 Heavy, just direct jet on now.
I still think my favorite airplane to fly right now
Dave,
is
what
the
was it for Air Canada
CJ4.
264?
It has the best
Direct jab on, you're turning the runway.
functionality of
Dave,
FMC and LNAV VNAV capability so far of all the planes in the sim. So,
5,000 Air Canada
and
264
it has
Heavy.
a Navigraph charts and weather. This plane doesn't have the weather built into it. So this is Alpha here, or Bravo. Yeah, this is Bravo here. So I hope you enjoyed this flight. It just gives a quick demo of the latest modifications to the Working Title G3000 Mod. This is also available in the Cessna Longitude, and I might do a flight in that one. I haven't flown that plane very much. I've flown the TBM a little bit more, so I'm a little more used to it. I don't fly this one a lot, so I'm not super proficient at it, but I'm going to try the Cessna Longitude, try a few practice flights in that, and then maybe I'll give you a demo of the G3000 setup in that airplane and what it's like to fly that airplane. It's basically the same layout as this airplane here in terms of avionics, and except you have the jet, and the Longitude has a
descent to 5,000.
autopilot as well, with a auto throttle system as well. So that.
Yeah, sorry about that. Autopilot was acting up, starting descent right
CJ4
now.
doesn't have the auto throttle, so I'm going to try that out, and maybe later in the week I'll see if I can post a video doing a trip in the Cessna Longitude. So if you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like today's flight, just throw me a thumbs up there. I really appreciate it, and I'll try to do more content like this. If you have any questions, please leave a question in the comment, or if you'd like to see something specific, just leave a comment, and I'm more happy to get back to you and try to oblige.
Air Canada 264, your number 2 for the approach. I'll have
So you don't have to follow me to the end here. I think we'll just call it a video here, and yeah, it was a great trip in the TBM today. It's a fun airplane to fly. Hope you enjoyed the flight, and we'll see you next time. Bandit out.